Absolutely. Here's a full-length YouTube-style article titled, The Forgotten Evolution of the 1989 Plymouth, America's Underdog Story, that tells the story of Plymouth in 1989, focusing on its legacy, design, cultural context, and influence, without mentioning handling condition. 1989 Plymouth Evolution, the forgotten chapter of America's underdog. In the roaring engines of Detroit's golden age, Plymouth was once a name that echoed through American neighborhoods. It represented affordability, reliability, and style, a working-class hero from the Chrysler family. But by the late 1980s, the automotive world was changing fast. Technology was evolving, imports were invading, tastes were shifting, yet in the midst of that storm, Plymouth was still fighting, still crafting cars that reflected the spirit of resilience. And 1989, that year was a pivotal chapter in its evolution. This is the story of the 1989 Plymouth evolution, a time when the brand sought reinvention. It wasn't about dominance. It wasn't about speed records. It was about survival, identity, and legacy. A brand on the brink. To understand the significance of 1989 for Plymouth, you first need to understand where it came from. Plymouth was launched in 1928 as Chrysler's answer to Ford and Chevrolet. It quickly became a bestseller, especially during the Great Depression, thanks to its lower price tag and dependable engineering. By the 1950s and 60s, Plymouth had become a household name, offering everything from family sedans to muscle car legends like the Barracuda and Road Runner. But as the 1970s gave way to the fuel crisis, emissions regulations, and increasing competition from Japanese automakers, Plymouth's identity began to blur. Was it sporty, economical, family-focused? By the time 1989 rolled around, Plymouth was searching for its place in a market that no longer favored the familiar. 1989, a year of strategic shifts. The year 1989 wasn't just another chapter, it was a year of quiet revolution for Plymouth. Instead of chasing high-performance headlines or flashy luxury, Plymouth focused on refining its lineup, modernizing design, and offering value-packed options to appeal to the changing American buyer. This was not about building halo cars. It was about building smart cars. Let's look at the key models that defined this evolution moment. 1. Plymouth Sundance, compact with a purpose. The 1989 Plymouth Sundance was a symbol of where Plymouth was headed. A compact hatchback built on Chrysler's AA body platform, it was designed to compete with the likes of the Honda Civic and Toyota Corolla. With clean, boxy lines and practical features, the Sundance was aimed squarely at young drivers, first-time buyers, and families who wanted reliability without luxury premiums. It came in base, RS, and turbocharged versions, offering flexibility without frills. This car wasn't designed to excite, it was designed to earn trust, mile after mile. 2. Plymouth Voyager, the original family revolution. Arguably the most impactful vehicle in the Plymouth lineup, the Voyager continued to shine in 1989. Launched in 1984, the Voyager helped pioneer the modern minivan segment alongside its Dodge Caravan twin. By 1989, it had become a staple of suburban life, offering seating for 7, sliding doors, and cargo space that SUVs couldn't match. In a time when family car still meant station wagon, the Voyager offered freedom, flexibility, and function in a new form. It wasn't just a vehicle, it was a movement. 3. Plymouth Acclaim, practical elegance. Introduced in 1989 as a replacement for the Reliant K car, the Plymouth Acclaim brought a sense of maturity and style to the midsize market. Built on the Chrysler A platform like the Dodge Spirit and Chrysler LeBaron, the Acclaim offered crisp styling, a comfortable cabin, and available V6 power. With its chrome accents and squared-off silhouette, it projected confidence, not flash. The Acclaim represented Plymouth growing up, delivering cars that appealed to both older buyers and families seeking value with class. Design language, conservative yet purposeful. The late 1980s were a time of transition in car design. The rounded, futuristic shapes of the 1990s hadn't fully arrived. Meanwhile, the chrome-heavy, boxy look of the early 80s was fading. Plymouth, in 1989, found a sweet spot, conservative yet intentional design. Most models featured clean, squared edges, flush-mounted headlights, subtle grille styling, balanced proportions. This was not about visual drama. It was about creating a cohesive look across the brand, a look that told the buyer, this is a smart choice. Technology and innovation, quiet advances. While the 1989 Plymouths weren't breaking tech barriers, they were incorporating incremental innovation that made a real difference. Electronic fuel injection (EFI) replaced carburetors in many engines, improving fuel efficiency and cold starts. Onboard diagnostic systems (OBDI) began appearing, preparing for the computer-controlled future of auto maintenance. Front-wheel drive became standard across most models, offering more interior space and traction. Improved safety features, such as crumple zones and reinforced door structures, showed Plymouth's awareness of growing safety concerns. Again, nothing revolutionary on paper, but these changes were key to survival in a rapidly evolving marketplace. The cultural context: a brand for real people. In 1989, America was changing. The Berlin Wall would fall by year's end. Home computers were entering mainstream households. Japanese cars were dominating sales charts. MTV was influencing pop culture like never before. Amidst that wave, Plymouth stood as a brand for real people. Not wealthy executives, not performance junkies, but teachers, electricians, nurses, parents, and students. People who needed dependable, honest cars, without the high price tag. That was Plymouth's quiet strength. Marketing the underdog. Plymouth's marketing in 1989 reflected its position, the humble, capable underdog. Taglines like, "Plymouth, it's working," emphasized function over flair. TV ads often showed real families loading up a Voyager for a road trip. College kids driving a Sundance through campus. Middle-class buyers choosing Acclaim over a more expensive competitor. This was not marketing for dreams, it was marketing for reality. Why it was forgotten. So, why don't we talk about the 1989 Plymouth lineup today? Because these cars didn't demand attention. They simply did their job, day in and day out. They didn't make it to exotic auctions or museum exhibits. They rarely appeared in Hollywood blockbusters. But they were everywhere, on the school run, at grocery store parking lots, in cross-country family photos, on used car lots for years to come. They were the backbone of a generation of drivers. But in the fast-moving world of automotive history, the everyday often gets overlooked. Surviving examples and modern enthusiasts. Today, finding a pristine 1989 Plymouth is a challenge. Most were used, reused, then recycled. But for those that survive, especially well-maintained Sundances, Voyagers, and Acclaims, they are starting to gain appreciation among vintage compact and minivan collectors. There's a quiet community of Plymouth fans online who celebrate these cars not for performance, but for what they represented: reliability, accessibility, and a snapshot of late 20th century America. Legacy and lessons from 1989. Although the Plymouth brand was eventually discontinued in 2001, its 1989 lineup teaches us some important lessons. Consistency matters. Flashy cars come and go, but dependable cars build legacies. Design can be quiet and smart. Not everything needs to be bold to be successful. Middle America matters. Automakers often focus on luxury or sport, but the real market is in the middle. Underdogs leave a mark. Even if not remembered widely, they serve the people, and that's a noble legacy. Conclusion: the unsung year of Plymouth evolution. 1989 may not have been the most glamorous year in Plymouth's timeline, but it was one of the most honest. It was a year of transition, modernization, and quiet perseverance. It was a year when Plymouth did what it always did best: deliver value, reliability, and purpose to people who simply needed to get from A to B. And in doing so, it became a part of millions of lives, even if those stories are rarely told today. So here's to the 1989 Plymouth evolution, the forgotten chapter that deserves to be remembered, not for revolution but for realness. Would you like me to create a matching YouTube title, description, and hashtags for this article as well?